My oaths betray each other till there's nothing left to keep.
Only Us by Miracle of Sound. Alright, and welcome back to the Shardbreaker podcast. This is episode 19 of Words of Radiance, and also officially episode 100 that we've done. And this is our final episode of Words of Radiance, which is pretty cool that it ended up being episode 100. And we obviously did chapter 85 through to the end of the book, all the way through the epilogue. It's very exciting. So yeah, I am Midnight, your host, and I'm here with Mythic.
Hello.
And Darkness.
Hello.
You guys are both so enthusiastic today for
I mean,
episode
when
100.
you lie to us for chapters and chapters and chapters, you know.
The book lied to you for chapters
No,
and chapters and
you lied.
chapters.
You lied to us.
So we start with chapter 85, Swallowed by the Sky. So our epigraph is, "But who is the wanderer, the wild piece, the one who makes no sense? I glimpse at his implications, and the world opens to me. I shy back. Impossible. Is it?" From the diagram, West Wall, Psalm of Wonders, paragraph 8. Note by Adrotasia. Could this refer to Mraize? So who do you think the wild piece is? Do you agree it could be Mraize, or do you think it's someone else?
Do I think the who is?
The wanderer, which they also called the wild piece, the one who makes no sense.
Sounds more like wit to me.
Do you agree, Darkness? Do you think it's more likely to be Wit than Mraize?
Who the
That's
fuck is Marie?
Yeah, who the fuck is Murray?
No, so here's the thing. I remember that this started with Marie's, right? And then I remember reading the fucking name again and I keep forgetting.
Mraize is the not the head of the Ghostbloods, but he's like second in charge of the Ghostbloods.
Right, it's the one that pops up and talks to Shalon at the end, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, we find out she thinks he's in charge at first. We find out that technically Eotil is above him in the Ghostbloods, the masked woman. But yeah, so do you think this person they're talking about is Mraize, or do you think it's Hoyd, like Mythic thinks?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Marie's.
I think I'm more likely to agree with Mythic. I just don't know if the diagram actually knows about Wit. Like, I don't know if Taravangian knows about him. And like who he is. So we start with Dalinar's point of view as he gets word from Shalon that she's asking for Navani and stating that the Everstorm and Highstorm would be colliding. He heads towards the command tent, but is yanked out of the ground by the wind and blown away, causing the scholars and scribes to scramble to grab their papers before they're blown away as well. Dalinar asks for an update and is told that Aladar was able to win his plateau, stopping the Parshendi from their singing. Dalinar is encouraged by this and tells the man to get all of the army to head to the Round Plateau to prepare for a storm. Navani and Pete, the messenger, run off before Dalinar tells Royan to start heading to the Round Plateau as well. So were you surprised that so much of the army seemed to be safe at this point?
Yeah, I was pretty surprised that a lot of the army was there still.
Right.
If they'd all be dead.
Yeah, apparently the Parshendi put a good number of their people into singing, so I guess they weren't able to fight as hard as normal. I think that's the main reason. Probably most of the casualties came from the fucking lightning. So suddenly Adolin charges out of a tent and over to Dalinar, bloodied and missing part of his shard plate. Dalinar feels like he knows what caused that before he even sees the tent Adolin ran out of blow away and reveal Szeth. We then switch to Shalon's point of view as she frantically tries to figure out any clues on how to open the Oath Gate. It was all written in the Dawn Chant. Shalon feels like the Knights Radiant are key somehow, although she doesn't understand why Renarin's Shardblade doesn't work. Renarin suddenly starts muttering and shouting to himself about being able to see the future, asking why the Almighty has cursed him as he uses a rock to write zeros on the ground while repeating that it's come and they're all dead. So what did you think about Renarin's little meltdown here?
I mean, from what we find out later, yeah, I mean, I think it's true. He actually can see the future. He's a future sight man.
So he's the one that was writing the numbers and everything.
Yeah,
right?
so he was the one doing the countdown. That's how he always got into the room, was because he was always being kind of like kept safe with Dalinar, Navani, and Adolin and everyone.
That's pretty cool.
So apparently Renarin's learned how to write a little bit.
I wonder if he'll be the one that writes the new diagram. Since he can see the future.
Yeah, apparently he can see the future, and he thinks the Almighty has cursed him. Probably because he can see
He
the
has.
future.
He's definitely cursed him. For 100%.
Hmm.
He's cursed the entire world.
So we switch back to Dalinar's point of view as he holds Adolin, whispering to him to not let the other High Princes corrupt him when he takes over the princedom. Dalinar then leaves Adolin to approach the assassin as Royan shouts and others flee after hearing Dalinar's previous orders. He could briefly see a storm wall building at the front of the red lightning storm, and he thinks that he failed to stop it in time. Bridge 4 runs up to try to defend Dalinar, but he waves them away, stating they can't do anything to stop the assassin. Dalinar tries to ask Szeth why he killed his brother, if the Parshendi ever give a reason, but Szeth just replies that he is truthless and does as his masters tell him. Dalinar realizes that Szeth is mad.
Radiance.
Yeah, so he's like, oh, Szeth isn't like some like angry like guy with like strategy. He's just mad. Szeth then states that he will get what he
He
deserves.
is justice.
That he will get what he deserves eventually, and summons his shard blade. As he attacks, Dalinar stops the blade with his own, and Szeth smiles as he thanks Dalinar for not dying easily and drawing out his agony. So what did you think about the fact that they were too late to stop the Everstorm from forming?
I mean, I assumed it was gonna happen anyway. You know.
I mean, Renarin seemed to think it was going to happen. He was warning them.
Why?
So we switch briefly to Adolin's point of view as he slowly comes out of his daze from hitting the ground earlier. He almost falls over, but Scar and Drahe help him up. Adolin tells them he's giving them a raise before asking them to help him take off his shard plate, since it's basically useless with all the damage it's taken. As he glances over at his father, he is stunned by how beautifully he fights. We then move back to Dalinar's point of view as he fights Szeth, avoiding his blade and his outstretched hand as he knows that getting touched by Szeth is the most dangerous after their last fight. Dalinar doesn't think, instead letting his instincts take over as he dodges each attack. However, Szeth eventually punches Dalinar in the ribs, causing Dalinar to fall to his knees. Dalinar realizes that even if he hadn't been drunk on the night of his brother's death, he couldn't have saved his brother from dying. It brought him peace as Szeth stepped towards him. Surprisingly, Royan lunged at Szeth from behind. So were you surprised to see Royan sacrifice himself for Dalinar?
Like that, yes.
What did you think, Mythic, of Royan sacrificing himself by lunging at Szeth?
I don't remember who this guy is. I'm trying to remember.
He's one of the high princes that followed Dalinar out, and he was called the most cowardice one of them. Sabariel kept taunting him
that
for
guy.
being a coward.
That
Yeah.
guy. Yeah, that guy. Oh, well, hey. Great way to show that he's not actually a coward.
So we move to Adolin's point of view as he gets out of the last of his shard plate and begins running towards his father. He's shocked to see Royan and a small group of soldiers run for the assassin. However, they aren't able to do anything as Szeth sends Royan up into the air and kills his men with his shard blade. Adolin attacks Szeth with his shard blade as well, but it is easily knocked away. Nearby, Royan falls back to the ground with a sickeningly wet crunch. Szeth sends a tarp at Adolin, which he slices through and tries to attack Szeth, but he doesn't see him. He ducks on instinct, and Szeth's blade misses his head by inches. Szeth lands lightly between Adolin and Dalinar, both of whom have bridgemen running up to surround them. Dalinar allows it this time. Adolin knows that they both know that the only chance they have at winning is a mad dash at Szeth, and hoping for a lucky blow. General Call comes with some other soldiers, but Adolin doesn't think they'll make it over here in time. Adolin and his men dash forward, and Dalinar also dashes towards Szeth from the other side. Szeth jumps high into the air and then comes down with a powerful attack, then throws Adolin backwards. 2 bridgemen die as others have their spearheads sliced off. Adolin stares in shock as Szeth's few wounds close, as Kaladin had said they would. Dalinar charges at Szeth with an attack, but Adolin knows that he is trying to die fighting. Szeth parries Dalinar's blade and places a hand on Dalinar's chest, sending him flying up into the air soundlessly. So what did you think about the way that Szeth killed Royan and then tried to kill Dalinar as well?
That was cool. But also, I get why that guy screamed the whole way, you know?
The Will hamstring.
To be fair, Royan probably didn't know much about Szeth's abilities, or like he heard them but didn't believe them.
Yeah, he
So
just
probably,
went for it.
he wasn't expecting to be thrown into the sky. What did you think of that, Mythic?
What, him being thrown into the sky?
Yeah.
Or, it's just that doing that things. I mean,
It was cooler when he came down.
wow.
Yep, he's splatted. Adolin tries to go after Szeth, who is now walking away from the battle. Szeth levels his blade at Adolin, telling him the fight is finished, but Adolin refuses to back down and tries to attack. Szeth smacks away Adolin's blade so hard that something in his wrist breaks, and he places a hand on Adolin's chest, telling him he could kill once more before leaving. However, before he can, Dalinar floats down from the air slowly, streaming stormlight. Szeth screams as he sees this when suddenly a comet of light smashes into the ground, revealing Kaladin Stormblessed, glowing brighter than Szeth and holding a glowing shard blade. Kaladin tells Szeth
I told you he'd make it.
Kaladin tells Szeth that he sent Dalinar into the air to die, but the sky and wind are his to claim, just as Szeth's life is. So what do you think about Kaladin's entrance?
Epic.
Show off.
That too, but epic. I found it funnier that Aelin still has no chance against Szeth.
Yep.
No chance. And he's going to stand even less of a chance now.
Yeah, Adolin at the end of this is just like, damn, everyone's got special powers except for me, dude.
Aelin needs to become a
A
whatever.
Radiant.
Yeah, 100%.
Mhm.
He doesn't deserve it, but he should.
I think he deserves it. He's a good guy.
After what he did at the end, hell yeah.
So we get chapter 86, Patterns of Light. Our epigraph is, one is almost certainly a traitor to the others. From the diagram, Book of the Second Desk Drawer, paragraph 27. So what do you think this means? One is a traitor to the others.
That we have a traitor in our midst.
Again.
And I know who exactly it's going to be.
So you think it's referring to like Dalinar's group, that there's a traitor like amongst kind of our main group of
I think
people?
there's going to be a traitor in the Radiance or whatever.
Mm.
Because I know exactly who it's going to be. We'll get to that though.
Okay. Do you agree that it's referring to kind of like our main group, like the Radiance or like Dalinar's group or something? Darkness? Or do you think it's referring to someone else?
Wait. Where was this from? The board?
The diagram, yeah. It says one is almost certainly a traitor to the other. So it's very like vague. It doesn't really say like if it's like it could be referring to like the Parshendi, it could be referring to the Radiance, it could be referring to like the diagram people, like we don't know.
But it's very what?
Vague. That is how
Vague.
it is
What the
pronounced.
fuck is vague? No, it's not.
I've literally listened to other people say that word. That's how people
Go
say
to Google.
it.
Go to Google. Put it in and say and show it how it's pronounced.
Yeah, I have. I've done that
not
before.
vague. Not vague.
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 Yes, that is how it's said, not vague.
Vague. I'm saying it the same way. It's a slight accent.
No, you're saying vague, which is VAG.
No. Vague.
Yes, vague.
It's the same thing.
No, it's not.
Anyways. Darkness, do you agree that with Mythic that you think the traitor is referring to someone within the Radiance? Or do you think it's some other group?
Where's my Jeopardy music?
No, it's a different group.
What group do you think it is?
It's probably on the people who are like trying to figure out the diagram.
So we switch to Kaladin's point of view as he lands on the plateau, Stormlight running low after his flight to the army. He had found them by seeing Dalinar rising into the air due to Szeth's lashing, and had quickly lashed him back to the ground. Szeth was now staring at Kaladin with his shardblade raised, looking horrified. Kaladin tells Dalinar and the others to seek shelter as there is a storm coming from the west, and that he will deal with Szeth. Dalinar says that Kaladin is what he's been looking for, and Kaladin agrees that he finally is. Kaladin then walks forward, past Bridge 4, who at Tef's command put down some large gemstone lanterns that are still holding some stormlight. Kaladin sees two bridgemen, Pedin and Mart, dead, and he angrily thinks that he will lose no more men to Szeth. We switch back to Shallan's point of view as she shouts for someone to shut Renarin up. She examines the room, the mural, and the keyhole that fits any shardblade. She then realizes the metal latticework over the gemstones meant that this was a fabrial. So what do you think about this whole room being a fabrial?
Crazy.
It's a pretty intricate fabrial.
That's what they usually wear on their hands, right?
Not all fabrials on their hands. Those are the soulcasters that are specifically worn on the hand. Soulcasters are a type of fabrial, but they're like ancient fabrials that they don't know how to recreate.
Like
Like Navani's like floodlights are fabrials.
Yeah,
there's like heating fabrials. There's the fabrials that like lift that tarp up earlier. There's like all sorts of fabrials are basically anything that uses stormlight and metal to like do things.
Almost like they've taken Mistborn technology, metal.
I mean, we've seen metals doing stuff with investiture before. Remember on Threnody, we see silver injuring the cognitive shadows.
Yeah.
All Mistborn. Only Mistborn. Almost like all of these worlds are just fragments of a larger world.
Right?
Wait, wasn't silver used for like?
Silver's not used for anything in Mistborn.
Nope.
Really?
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Well, what's the metal that they use then?
Gold, whatever the fuck the.
If you
No,
think the one that gets
no.
rid of powers, it was aluminum.
Yeah.
aluminum.
Oh, okay.
They forced Vin to eat aluminum at one point to like get rid of all of the metals in her.
I don't know.
Didn't they shackle her
Midnight
with,
said
like-
that silver was
Yeah,
one
they shackled her with
before,
aluminum
she got
too.
Oh, okay.
Oh, actually, I think they also shackled her with silver because it was specifically a metal that she couldn't eat. Like it wouldn't give her
Yeah.
powers. So I think they used
Yeah.
silver because it was stronger than aluminum.
Okay. Yeah, that's probably what I remember.
So we switch back to Dalinar's point of view as he watches Kaladin fly into the sky after Szeth. He then begins shouting orders, asking for information. He gets over to Adolin, who is smug about knowing that something had been wrong with Kaladin the whole time. Dalinar then tells him to get whomever he can over to the plateau that Shallan and the scholars were on, since their time was short. He soon finds Gallant, who hadn't run off from the wind and lightning as most horses would have. Riding the horse allowed him some reprieve on his wounds as Adolin and the bridgemen head off. Dalinar then is surprised to see Royan's army moving orderly towards Shallan's plateau, even though he'd expected them to be disorganized after Royan's death. Sabaro then calls over to Dalinar, and he is shocked to see the man eating fruit and Pelona reading a novel. What's even more shocking is that Sabaro was the one who organized Royan's army, his own army already on Shallan's plateau, and Aladar's army also likely close to Shallan's plateau. Downer tells Sabarial to hurry over himself and confirms that Royan is dead. So are you surprised that Sabarial was the one that took charge to get Royan's army moving?
Not at all.
Who was it that did it?
Sabarial, the guy that Shallan's been staying with.
Right.
Mhm.
Nah. Honestly, no.
He, like, gets massages all the time. He just like lives like a very like lavish lifestyle. I like how Pollona's just there like reading a novel, just like in the middle of the fight. Just chilling. So Downer soon heads over to a plateau near Shallan's, Bridgman dutifully following him although they aren't as fast as Gallant. He meets up with Aladar, who is injured but otherwise okay. Can't say names. Aladar excitedly says they've won the war and the Vengeance Pact, but realizes it doesn't really matter. Downer says it does, but that victory doesn't always feel good in the moment. He tells Aladar to pack as many men onto the round plateau as possible so they can go through the portal when it opens. He just hopes that it does open. We switch back to Kaladin's point of view as he follows Szeth up into the sky. Gemstones lit up several plateaus below them, where they were scattered when the tents went flying. Syl turned from a sword into a ribbon of light, flying around Kaladin, who wonders how she isn't dead, and she replies in his head that she was only as dead as his oaths were. Kaladin then looks at the two storms, knowing the red one was from the Parshendi, but wondering how a high storm could be forming during the weeping. Syl tells him the Stormfather's broken and has sent a storm to try to wash everything away to avoid the future. Kaladin flies higher into the sky, following Szeth. When he breaks through some clouds, he can no longer see Szeth and is on edge. He summons Syl as a blade again, but does not have to wait 10 heartbeats. Syl replies that you only need to wait 10 heartbeats when you are reviving the dead each time you need to use a blade. Eventually, Kaladin realizes...
I was right!
Yeah, so, the blades are all dead spren, except for the ones of current Knight's Radiance, who are living spren. So you have to wait 10 heartbeats because you're literally, pulling the spren briefly back from the dead to use them. And then they die again when you dismiss them. Sounds like a great existence. Eventually, Kaladin reaches Szeth again, fully above the clouds and out in the sunlight. Szeth is mumbling to himself about being truthless and tells Kaladin that he must have an honor blade. Kaladin replies that he doesn't, but Szeth doesn't seem to believe him. Kaladin tries to swipe with his new sword, but he doesn't do well, and Syl, in response, changes into a silvery spear. Szeth seems upset by seeing the sword change into a spear, but continues stating that he is truthless, not to question things, before screaming. So what do you think about... we kind of already talked about that. But yeah, so there's 10 heartbeats to wait for the Shardblade to resurrect. Do you have any thoughts on that, Darkness? Besides the fact that Mythic was kind of right. I think you kind of also might have brought some of that up as well. Although I think you guys thought that, he'd also have to kill his current spren to have a Shardblade.
Trying to think of, why 10 heartbeats.
I think it's just because it's a powerful number on Roshar, so it's just
Yeah,
10
because
is
of the
the
10 radiant thingies.
Yes, 10 Radiant Orders, 10 Heralds, 10 Surges. It's 10 heartbeats to pull back a spren from the dead for a second to use them as a blade.
Cool.
So we switch back to Shallan's point of view as she dashes around the Oathgate room, pushing Stormlight into the Fabrials around the room. She doesn't have time to keep her powers hidden or to answer the questions of the Ardents who are writing glyphs and praying. Shallan runs out of Stormlight with 1 gemstone left, and she starts calling for Stormlight, but no one in the room has any. Shallan ducks back outside, calling for Stormlight before she's distracted by Adolin nearby. He's injured and leaning on a bridgeman, but Shallan runs up and hugs him. Shallan suddenly breathes in some Stormlight, as Adolin apparently had a couple still-lit spears on him, and he asks in surprise if she is one of them too. She apologizes, and he asks if she can fly as well, which confuses her before she rushes to get back inside. We switch back to Kaladin's point of view as he fights Szeth, both of them flying past each other as they use their lashings. Below them, 2 storms fought as well. Szeth and Kaladin clash as Szeth shouts that the Knights Radiant can't have returned. Kaladin insists that they have, and they're going to kill Szeth. Szeth dives into the clouds and appears a moment later and stabs at Kaladin, hitting his arm. Kaladin drops Syl and lashes himself away until his arm heals back from lifeless grey. Szeth comes at him again, but Kaladin raises Syl as a shield in his left hand to deflect Szeth's blade. So what do you think about Syl being able to predict Kaladin's needs and becoming many different forms to help him in battle?
I already
called
called
it.
this. Yeah. We've already called the fact that she was going to do this shit. When we saw the one, I think it was before we saw the dagger, or whatever.
Yeah, I
Or
think you
change
guys...
pattern into a dagger.
Yeah, I think you guys
No,
had...
we definitely said it way before.
Yeah, so I'm saying, yeah, but still.
Yeah, she's also able to do it
solidified it.
super quickly though. She's like sword, spear, shield, spear.
You don't think that, and you're telling me you don't think pattern
Hammer.
can?
Oh no, he can. I was just saying,
Yeah,
it
exactly.
was really cool, happen really quickly,
I mean, I kind of want to see that animated, to be honest.
right? I want to
So
see
when
this.
are they going to put out a book for this?
You mean a show?
Oh, yeah, that's what I meant.
I'm like, they've already put out books. This is the book. I wish they would put out a TV show. I want to see it so bad.
Or a movie. No.
I think Stormlight needs to, because of how long it is, it needs to be a TV show.
Nah, I think it needs to be like multiple movies.
Nah, I don't feel like it would. I'd rather a TV series.
I feel like each book could become its own movie.
No, each book would not be its own movie. It would need to be like each
Yeah.
part of each book would need to be a movie.
No, I think each book.
Well, the
could
thing
be-
is, when it comes to books and movies, they're not gonna put everything that was
yeah,
in a
it's,
book
it's
in a
not going to
movie.
literally be a one-for-one comparison.
That's why I
Exactly,
want a
said.
TV show so it can be closer to a one for one.
No, even shows don't one-for-one it.
I want it close enough.
Yeah, well, I mean, so does everybody who
I think
reads
also
any book ever.
Brandon has said I think that he would prefer Stormlight to be a TV series and Mistborn to be a movie series.
I feel like they all need to just be long movie formed. But
10-hour movies
he-
each.
yes,
If he does both, it's gonna work out. Because that's literally how Marvel does it.
Mhm. So Zeth came at Kaladin again, this time Syl coming as a spear as they clashed together. Zeth tells Kaladin he is new to this, but Kaladin replies that he isn't, that the sky and winds have been his since childhood, and Zeth is the trespasser. Kaladin stopped thinking about what he was doing and just did what felt right, attacking Zeth with a spear that turns into a halberd as Zeth dodges. Zeth attacks back, and Kaladin blocks with Syl as a shield before stabbing into Zeth's shoulder. Kaladin tries to backhand Zeth afterwards, but Zeth lashes himself away before Kaladin can do so. Kaladin finds himself starting to run low on Stormlight, but thinks that Zeth seems to be even lower as he doesn't bother to fully heal his shoulder. Suddenly, the top of an entire plateau is thrown up into the air, and Zeth lands on it, running across it lethargically. Kaladin follows, landing on the plateau as well. Zeth cuts through a rock formation on the plateau, causing boulders to come tumbling at Kaladin as the plateau begins to fall back towards the ground. Zeth throws himself from the plateau, and Kaladin jumps off after him. Zeth falls through the clouds, shouting that the Radiance and the Voidbringers can't be back because he is truthless. He then states that he then states that he doesn't need to fight Kaladin, as Kaladin isn't his target, before lashing himself towards where Dalinar was. So what do you think about Zeth continuing to try to kill Dalinar, even though he's getting proof that he is not truthless?
he is truthless.
He's not.
It's just justice. It's honestly just justice. That's all it is.
What did you think, Darkness, about Zeth not accepting that he isn't truthless?
Sorry. I mean, it makes sense. You know, it's like Shalon with her trauma shit. You know, where she's blocking out the stuff she doesn't want.
Yeah, I mean, quite a thing to block out too. So
So we switch back to Shalon's point of view as she rushes back into the Oathgate room, thinking that hundreds, if not thousands, of soldiers could already be dead. However, she still infuses the final Fabrial with Stormlight. The floor glows like stained glass, and Shalon shouts for Adolin to put his Shardblade into the keyhole. However, nothing happens. She states that something is wrong with his blade, with all blades, except for hers. A deep truth. She shouts for Pattern, and he forms into a blade in her hand, a blade that was used to kill, a blade with a hidden soul. She rams the blade into the keyhole and feels something unlock. Shalon then throws her weight against the blade, along with Adolin, until the patterned Shardblade is in front of the Urithiru section of the mural. She pulls the blade free, and the Fabrial lamps went out. So what do you think about only living Shardblades working on the Oathgate?
why would a dead one work?
I mean, they're still a Shardblade.
Yeah, but why would the dead work though? Like they're dead.
Well, they come back to life if you use it.
Only for the brief bit. I mean,
They use it, yeah.
and are they actually alive though? Like they're still. It's not like they can change their form. Like short, like they can't go back into being.
Yeah, they're like alive, but I think they're almost like coma patients or something. Like they're obviously not like fully alive
they're
again.
zombies. They're
Yeah,
zombies.
they're like the lifeless from
No.
Warbreaker.
Yeah, they're zombies, friend.
Zombie Spren. So we switch back to Kaladin's point of view as he falls after Zeth, buffeted by the wind as Syl warns him to be careful while in her father's domain, especially while it is combined with the other storm. Both Kaladin and Zeth burst alight with Stormlight while in the high storm, while multicolored lightning flashes around them. Zeth pushes towards the plateau covered in soldiers, and Kaladin follows as fast as he can. Just as Zeth touches down the plateau, it's suddenly empty, leaving both Zeth and Kaladin baffled. We switch back to Shalon's point of view as she and Adolin stare at the doorway that was now covered in crumb again. Adolin cuts out a doorway as Pattern disappears back into mist. As she walks outside, she is shocked to see the 4 armies all having also been transported with her, and the ones inside the room. The whole round plateau had been the Oathgate, not just the inside of the building. Beyond the armies, along with Dalinar and Navani, were 9 other large circular platforms backed by a mountain range and a gigantic tower. So what do you think about the whole circular plateau being transported, not just the inner room?
I figured
magic.
that's what was happening, and that's what they had like the idea to do.
A lot of magic.
It's pretty cool.
It's just a lot of magic.
You guys want to see some people's
Yes,
renderings of
Alright.
Urithiru?
I want to see all the pictures all the time. Interesting.
I can get one that has like a person for scale.
Is that supposed to be Kaladin with Seth fighting in the air?
No, I think it's
Mhm,
supposed to be
yeah.
No, I think it's supposed to be a high storm.
Yeah, totally. That's totally them fighting in the air.
That's
I was
just-
talking about the one above.
Yeah, the second one. I think it's just, or the first one. You mean? I think that's just a high storm. The distance.
I'm talking about the one above.
No, the
Oh,
right
the actual
above
image. Yeah,
where
yeah,
I
that's
said-
Kaladin and Zeth.
where I said,
or-
I
sorry,
am
yeah,
the
yeah.
storm.
Yeah, that one.
What
Yeah, that's them
happened to
fighting.
his hair,
Who's?
Calden?
It's just blown backwards. What do you mean?
I thought he had like longer hair.
It's got like shoulder length hair.
That's like no hair at all. That looks like a cake.
Yeah, I think
What,
Shalon refer.
you're through?
Yeah, it kind of looks like a cake. Shalon says it kind of looks like cups stacked on top of each other.
It does.
Wait, that's great. If somebody wants to recreate and do like a little,
Earthy root cake.
yeah, for their little like
A wedding?
costume theme, you know,
Yeah.
party.
Yeah. Midnight for your wedding, you know?
I already had my wedding.
No. No, you should totally have another one though.
Just do it again, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not that
With an
hard.
ear cake.
I think this one kind of gives
I
a
do
bit
it all
more
the time.
scale. So if you see the little dot in the center of each of those circular things, that's the inside of the building that they're in. So that's the
Those are
scale
nipples.
of that is the scale of Earthiru. It's like I mean, it mentions later that it's so high that Dalinor's like ears pop as he goes up the floors.
Where's the dot? I don't see the dot you're talking about.
On each of the circles, on each of the oath gates, there's like a little dot in the center of each one.
Those are
Oh.
nipples.
Yeah, they're definitely nipples for sure.
Well, those are the nipple buildings then.
You know, 100%.
We switch back to Kaladin's point of view as he watches Zeth scream into the storm. Kaladin not catching his words until they clash together. Zeth mentions that they must have gone into the tower city. Red spren zip around them in the storm. Zeth screams as he flies off westward, and Kaladin does his best to follow, not wanting to lose him, as Zeth seemed to know where Dalinar had gone. Kaladin almost loses Zeth, but suddenly tons of windspren like laughing little men and women were around him. Zeth crashes through the front of the storm wall, seeming confident he lost Kaladin, but Kaladin follows him not long after and stabs Zeth in the foot. So what do you think about the windspren helping Kaladin follow Zeth through the high storm?
That they're still children. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, I mean, he's wielding a blade he's not supposed to have, so.
He's wheelie wheelie sawy.
Wee. No, he won't. He's not wee wee sawy. You know what he is? He had to fall so that he could become greatness.
Okay, Phoenix.
He had to lose one blade to gather a better one.
He had to die and be reborn, literally.
He had to lose a blade to get a spear.
No,
I
he
think-
had
no, we're
to
talking about
lose a
Zeth.
blade to get a much better blade.
Yeah, no, he's talking about Zeth, not Kaladin.
Yes, I don't give a fuck about Kaladin. Zeth is the protagonist in this story.
Because Seth lost. That's all that matters.
Yeah, but he won't.
Seth lost
he
because
lost.
he wanted to lose. To be
Exactly. He let himself die.
Yeah, what a dumbass. Who does that?
Exactly.
So
Darkness. Who does that?
So Kaladin and Zeth continue to fight along the front of the storm wall, leaving the shattered plains. Kaladin blocks Zeth's attacks with a shield and stabs Zeth in the stomach with a knife. Zeth heals from the endless stormlight and they face off again. Zeth finally seems to realize that Kaladin is a Surgebinder and says he never had to kill after all. Kaladin is confused and calls Zeth a coward, which Zeth seems to accept. Kaladin strikes and instead of parrying, Zeth accepts the attack. Kaladin diverts his blow and kills Zeth's hand with the Syl Sphere, causing Zeth to drop his sword and all his stormlight to leave him as he falls. Kaladin grabs Zeth's blade at Syl's command, not letting it fall away and be lost. Zeth, however, does fall all the way down to a plateau. Kaladin says he didn't kill Zeth and he didn't want to, even if he should have. Syl then mentions that Kaladin almost killed her, and Kaladin says he thought he had, and compliments her. Syl says she'll accept his apology if he smiles for her, and he does. What do you think about Zeth accepting his death?
Boy's suicidal, so is that really a shock?
They should have left the poor guy dead.
Yeah,
He's
he
been
did.
through enough.
He almost got killed again. He was like, please just let me die. He's like, do you really want that? And he's like, I guess not. So then we get chapter 87, The Riddance. Our epigraph is, chaos in a Lethkar is, of course, inevitable. Watch carefully and do not let power in the kingdom solidify. The Blackthorn could become an ally or our greatest foe, depending on whether he takes the path of the warlord or not. If he seems likely to sue for peace, assassinate him expeditiously. The risk of competition is too great. From the diagram, writing upon the bedstand lamp, paragraph 4, Adrotagia's third translation from the original hieroglyphics. What do you think Dalinar is more dangerous, or why do you think Dalinar is more dangerous when he's peaceful instead of a warlord?
Wait, are we talking? What part are we talking about?
So basically the diagram says that...
Right. Okay, that's all I needed.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's saying he's more dangerous being peaceful, right?
Yeah. So it says the Blackthorn
Right.
could become an
So-
ally or our greatest foe. And it kind
Well, I
of
took that differently.
Well,
but
it says, yeah, 'cause it says the Blackthorn could become our ally or our greatest foe, depending on whether he takes the path of the warlord or not. It seems likely, if he seems likely to sue for peace, assassinate him. So basically, they're saying if he seems peaceful, kill him. If he seems like a warlord, like the Blackthorn, he could become our ally.
maybe it's because he would have been all right with like following through with what they need. Because
Mhm.
like Dalinar himself says that like he feels different now than to what he used to do. Like he wasn't the best person or whatever.
Mhm. Apparently, that would be what Taravangian prefers, is for him to be that bad person. What do you think about that, Mythic?
About him being a bad person, he's a bad person. He's always going to be
Well,
a
no,
bad
about
person.
if
Terrible
he
person.
that Taravangian wants him around if he's a bad person and a warlord, but he wants to kill Dalinar if he seems likely to be peaceful.
Yeah, no, he's just a bad person. So
Okay,
not Dalinar, the other guy.
Taravangian.
Yeah, he's just a bad person.
Mm.
That's why he wants more bad people in the world.
So we
This
continue
is
with
this is the same guy who said that people need to have take a test to have children, right?
yeah.
Okay, yeah, bad guy. Not saying he's not right, just a bad guy.
So we continue with Kaladin's point of view as he wanders the shattered plains with Zeth's blade over his shoulder. Nearby, an entire plateau had crumbled. Kaladin sees no sign of Zeth's body, which means he could be alive or he could be buried in the rubble somewhere. Kaladin asks Syl if the other storm will continue to be a thing, and she says it will be, and that it is a storm of him. Syl doesn't think it will be as bad except when the two storms meet together. Eventually, Kaladin makes his way over to the strange circular plateau and asks Syl how they disappear like the others, but Syl isn't sure. Syl and Kaladin then talk about how all Shardblades are dead spren who become a little alive when summoned. Kaladin then asks about the blade he took from Zeth not screaming, and Syl replies that it isn't a spren like the others. She states that she thinks it's an honor blade, one of the swords of the heralds, which is proof there that we finally get. The honor blades are definitely of the heralds. She states that
We had
each.
doubts.
Well, they just hadn't fully confirmed it. So I'm just saying it's fully confirmed now.
I didn't. Who had doubts here? Midnight.
She states that each sword has the powers of one of the orders, and that the Spren bonds were based on these powers given to the heralds by Honor himself. As
Yeah,
Kaladin
that's why he can be. Why Zeth can be so good, just like Kaladin. Yep.
So yeah, so Zeth had obviously the Windrunner Honor Blade.
Mm-hmm.
As Kaladin keeps walking, a bunch of Bridge 4 suddenly spot him and runs out to greet him. Kaladin tells them that he got this blade from the Assassin in White, and they tell him that Shallan told them how to operate the Oathgate as long as they have Kaladin with them. Inside the Oathgate room are more of Bridge 4, along with Rlain, whom Kaladin barely recognizes at first. He's told that Rlain had been pardoned for being a spy for the Parshendi. Tef then tells Kaladin that along with the two that died to Zeth, one of Lopin's cousins died to the Parshendi. Tef then also tells Kaladin that
One of his millions and millions of cousins.
Yeah. Tef then also tells Kaladin that he thinks he saw some of the bridgemen glowing when Kaladin showed up during the fight, and that in Dalinar's visions there seemed to be more than just the Knights Radiant. Kaladin thinks it would be interesting to see a whole group of former slaves glowing with stormlight. Teft also tells Kaladin that his eyes are a pale blue now, which upsets Kaladin a bit. He thinks that Light Eyes likely got into power because their eyes reminded people of the Radiance, but that didn't give them a reason to oppress others. He then puts Stormlight into the Lantern Fabrials and places Syl in the keyhole to transport them to Urithiru. So what did you think about Tef seeing other members of Bridge 4 glowing?
I wonder.
What do you
I
think?
mean, they used to have a bunch of like people in each group, no?
There used to be, well, because we know that there was like, from Dalinar's visions, there was like hundreds of Radiant in each order.
So I mean, yeah, if they're coming back, they're gonna all come back.
Also, what do you think about Kaladin being a Light Eyes now?
I knew it
That's
was going to happen.
embarrassing.
You can't tell me that you hate something and then you're not going to become it.
I mean, you could hate yourself, so
Because, he already hates himself. What are you talking about?
exactly.
Even before he
What's the
became a Light
difference?
Eyes, he's always hated himself.
Mm-hmm.
So we switch to Shallan's point of view as she stands outside the doors to Urithiru. Aelin had been leading the exploration of the tower, and Navani was helping with the injured soldiers. They had unfortunately left most of their supplies on the shattered plains. Shallan also notes that it seemed to take more Stormlight to use the Oathgate, the more people that are needed to be transported. At this point, they were already basically out of Stormlight. Shallan had wandered around the area outside the tower, knowing that there was little to use as tinder for fires to keep the people warm. There also seemed to be no way down from the tower except via the Oathgates. Ardents and scholars were writing out messages to other kingdoms using spanrays that still had Stormlight, letting others know of the Everstorm that may come back at some point. They had yet to hear from Elhokar, and it seemed Kholinar was having riots. Navani acted calm, but seemed tense as she spoke to others. Suddenly there was a flash of light, and Kaladin and Bridge 4 came out of one of the Oathgates. Kaladin floated down from the platform instead of taking the stairs and goes over to Dalinar. knowing that Szeth was dead and showing the blade he had taken from him. He starts to explain about the blade, but Navani cuts him off, asking about Elhokar. Kaladin insists that Elhokar is safe and that he put him somewhere no one would think to look. Did you guys have any thoughts about where Elhokar could be before you read where he was?
No, absolutely. Well, I one of the places that I thought he would have been was Brock's place. Only because, well, we kind of know there's, we assume there's like a perpendicularity nearby or something, right?
You think he could have gone all the way to the Horton-Eater Peaks?
I mean, yeah, he can fly.
Yeah, but he would have needed a lot of Stormlight, and he also was going to rescue Dalinar first. Or like
I don't know
right
what
after.
direction they're in.
The Horton-Eater Peaks are the opposite direction.
It's fine, he would have made it.
It probably would have been like a week's travel, even by flight or something.
It's fine, he would have made it. He's
Okay.
in the express lane.
So we switch to the Lopin's point of view, as he listens to his mother scolding Elhokar until he eats. The Lopin. Yeah, his mother's scolding Elhokar until he eats, as she says that she is in charge in her home, and that she won't have people saying she doesn't feed a king who visits. Several of Lopin's cousins sat around the street of Little Herdaz in Sabariel's war camp, keeping an eye out for anyone suspicious as they did simple tasks. Lopin tries his best to draw on Stormlight from a sphere, as Kaladin does, trying to make it work. His uncle then shows up, saying that they need to dress Elhokar up as a Herdasian, as it sounds like they may need to move out to the Shattered Plains, as something was found out there. Suddenly, he sucks in the Stormlight, but it goes out almost instantly. Lopin is confused for a second before feeling a tingling in the stump where his arm used to be, and he begins shouting for Stormlight as he needs to do some glowing. So what do you think about Kaladin sending Elhokar off with Lopin?
That was great. And this whole part was great, you know?
Yeah.
I've been waiting for this my whole life, you know?
Yeah, welcome. Yeah.
Low key, before this happened, I was, when Kaladin got the Honor Blade, I was like, he better try to let him use it.
Still open.
Yeah, so he can fly. But this is even better. Also, is this just natural, like, healing, or is it regrowth?
So Stormlight just heals people in general. Regrowth is the specific ability to heal others.
Oh, okay.
So only certain Radiants can heal other people, but anyone who can use Stormlight can heal themselves. Yeah.
Okay. Just didn't realize it was to that extent.
Yeah, so he can fully grow back his whole arm.
So wait, if he can grow back his whole arm, why can't Kaladin heal the scar on his face?
That is the question, isn't it?
Yeah, like...
This is trauma-induced. He doesn't want to.
Oh my god.
Am I wrong, though? Because, like...
But yes, you guys enjoyed Lopin being able to grow his arm back and use Stormlight finally, after he's been saying this whole time, you need to teach me how to do this?
I know, right?
Do you think all the ladies will be fawning over him like he thought?
When he starts flying, for sure.
He won't be able to make any one-armed Herdasian jokes anymore, though.
Says who? He could literally just cut it off.
Oh my god.
Just keep cutting his own arm off. That's horrible.
But it's not like he's gonna miss it.
Oh my gosh. And then we switch to Moash's point of view. He sits back in a cart, in the back of a cart, leaving the war camps, his armor hidden in some packaging with him. He could see lines of people heading out onto the Shattered Plains, as Dalinar had sent out orders to abandon the war camps and head to the center of the plains. Harshmen were to be left behind. Some of the High Princes had listened and begun evacuating, but others weren't. Surprisingly, Sadeas had evacuated his war camp and was heading out to the center. So were you surprised that Sadeas was one of the High Princes who decided to follow Dalinar off to the Earthiru?
No. That's the motherfucker that betrayed him, right?
Yeah.
No, he was there to do it again.
He's like, I gotta be where all the important people are. Were you surprised?
He's just like you, power hungry.
Yeah, exactly. Just like me, power hungry.
I was talking about Midnight, but okay.
Might be a little power hungry.
A little?
Is the shortness.
It is.
You gotta make up for it.
Yeah, I gotta compensate somehow.
Yeah, it's all that short person strength for sure.
So Graves then comes up to Moash, saying they shouldn't have been so worried about not being seen. He also points out some people who seem to be looting the abandoned war camps. Moash thinks about how he tried to kill Kaladin, failed to kill the king, and was a traitor twice over. Graves explains to Moash that the diagram mentioned the storm, but some of its information from Gavilar's visions that were shared with Taravangian. He calls it the Everstorm and says it will bring back the Voidbringers, who are apparently the Parshmen. Moash asks Graves who he really is, and Graves just replies that he's a patriot, as he previously told Moash, that he was allowed to follow his own interests until called upon. He had thought that getting rid of Elhokar would bring Dalinar to their side, but he was either wrong or too late. Graves then says he'll introduce Moash to the diagram, and he can tell them all about Kaladin. He He then says that their goal is the salvation of the entire world. So yeah, what do you think about Graves kind of doing his own thing with the information on the diagram?
Is that the traitor?
Who knows,
No, I'm
maybe.
being dead ass.
It might be, we don't know.
Wow, so helpful.
Oh, nope, darkness. The traitor's gonna be Lopin for sure.
Ugh, I wish. He deserves his main character era.
What did you think about Graves' plans to try and go off on his own with the diagram stuff?
More power to him.
Also, what do you think about the goal of the diagram being the salvation of the entire world?
Not, haven't we already known that though? Like,
I think we heard
that's
something similar from Teravangian, but I don't think it was like that specifically stated before.
I mean, he stated that he wanted to save them, right? So yeah, it lines up.
And then we get chapter 88, The Man Who Owned the Winds. And we get 10 dates, so there are 10 numbers with 10 digits, from the diagram North Wall Coda, Windowsill Region, paragraph 2. This appears to be a sequence of dates, but their relevance as of yet unknown. However, the fandom has of course figured out what the dates mean, and they are the final 10 high storms before the Everstorm. So basically, Teravangian had his own countdown and he didn't even know it.
And I need you to
You want me to
quote
read
the
them
whole
out?
numbers again. Yeah,
Okay.
all of the numbers again.
Need the dates?
Obviously.
1 second.
What am I excited? What am I?
I want no, do it from memory, Midnight. Gosh.
I don't have them memorized. I don't have anything
Why
memorized.
not? Why
my
don't you have
memory's
all the
shit.
numbers memorized? You should have all these numbers memorized.
My
You should do
memory's
your notes,
shit.
right?
Alright, so the dates are 1173, 09, 06, 05, 1173, 09, 08, 01, 1173, 09, 09, 01, 1173, 09, 1001, 1173, 09, 1004, 1173, 100105, 1173, 100205, 1173, 100401, 1173, 100603, and 1173, 100804.
Read it like a robot.
Already read it.
Like a robot?
I've already read it in general. So what do you think of Teravangian basically having his own countdown to the Everstorm without even realizing it?
I mean, he's not the smartest, so not right now, at least.
Oh, that was good.
Thanks. Definitely didn't think of that while I was listening to it.
What do you think, Darkness, about his countdown?
So, is it really him being the smartest if he didn't think about how they wouldn't be able to translate it?
I mean, he made it probably so that he just was probably, I think, writing down all of his ideas.
Yeah, but he left it to chance, and that's not the smartest thing to do. Like, maybe they'll get everything I'm writing. Like, a bunch of numbers is gonna help when, you don't tell them what it's for.
I mean, they at least realized it was dates. So we switch back to Shalon's point of view as she thinks about how the high storm that started in the Shattered Plains would be here within a day. As she wandered down the hallway, she was confused to find a piece of paper stuck to the wall with wax. She pulls it off and sees the symbol of the Ghostbloods along with her name underneath, not Vale's. She sucks in stormlight from Gaz's lantern on reflex and notices light coming from another room nearby. She gestures for her men to stay back as she approaches the room and sees Maraise inside. What do you think about the Ghostbloods now knowing that Shalon is Vale?
No. They know that Vale is Shalon. Obviously, Vale is not her. Is her true name, and Shalon is just a fake name that she's.
Obviously.
Obviously. But I'm pretty sure we've all called out that they were gonna
figure it out.
Yeah, like it's not like she hides things very well. She tells everybody everything, so I'm honestly more surprised that she didn't just straight up walk in and be like, "Hey, my name's Shalon."
I'm just happy to be here.
Maraise calls Shalon by Vale, stating that he seems to think that Shalon is the lie. He says he would not have realized her powers unless she showed them when helping the army. Shalon states that she doesn't want to be part of the Ghostbloods because they killed Yasna, but Maraise replies that Yasna killed many of their own members. He also states that he has Shalon's brothers. He states that her family owes him a soulcaster, but it turns out that Shalon is one herself. He also insists he isn't trying to threaten her family, but bring her brothers to her safely as a gift. Maraise then calls Shalon ignorant, saying he has information that she doesn't know, such as what the Ghostbloods' plans are, why her family was involved with them, and why her brother joined the Skybreakers. Maraise then leaves her to consider, and Shalon thinks that she unknowingly transported the Ghostbloods with the army exactly where they wanted to go. She eventually leaves the room and goes to find Adolin, whose injuries are wrapped and bruises are starting to purple. Adolin's a little bit awkward about Shalon being a Radiant at first, but Shalon kisses him to stop him from speaking. She then tells him to not be awkward before Adolin tells her to get some sleep and that Pattern chose this room for her. Shalon's confused, but goes inside. So what do you think about...
Pattern is such an asshole.
Why is Pattern an asshole?
Pattern is such an asshole. I chose this room specifically for you so that you would remember your whole life and what I did that didn't tell you about until right now. Mm-hmm. Go fuck yourself, Patton. You were
I
you were
love
one of my favorites, and now I don't like you anymore.
Pattern's the best boy.
What did he do wrong?
Really?
Yeah.
He murdered her mother.
I mean, she
No,
murdered
that
her
was
mother.
No, he murdered her. It was
No.
him as a blade.
She
He murdered
summoned
her.
him to kill her mother because her mother was trying to kill her.
Yep, but he killed her.
You're blaming the weapon instead of
I'm
the
blaming.
user.
So first off, this is a little different than blaming a weapon. This is blaming a friend. But sure.
Well, he didn't move himself to fucking stab her.
Do you think he would have though? I think he would have. I 100%
Well,
think
he
his
didn't.
sentience
That's the
would have
case,
done so.
though. He
I
didn't.
think he did.
So,
I think he did. I think he
no,
forced her.
I don't think so.
I think he forced her hand. Terrible, terrible friend.
Pattern's best boy.
Nope, Scylla's best boy.
Still's not a boy.
Scylla's whatever the fuck she wants to be.
But yeah, so what do you think though about Maraise having control of Shalon's family? He's got her brothers.
Maybe he needed it more.
Oh.
Did you say Mythic?
I said, oh no,
Mhm.
he's got her brothers. Oh no. I don't think that's true.
You don't
Not
think
like
so?
it matters. She didn't even think about going to see them. Like,
Well, she's been
in forever.
messaging them for quite a while.
And they just weren't answering because they don't like her.
Well, no, they weren't answering because they probably lost their fucking span read in the middle of their civil war.
Nah, they don't like her. Obvious.
But anyway, so once inside, Pattern tells her that it is time, and that the people need her. Shalon cries as an illusion of the room with the carpet once white and two corpses appear. A strongbox behind a painting also appears, which Shalon at first can't take the picture from in front of it, but eventually she's able to touch it and move it. She opens the strongbox to show a shardblade, but hastily inside that Shalon states would have turned to mist eventually. Her father had put Pattern in there to keep away from her, even though it wouldn't have done much good. She looks at the image of her mother's friend, bleeding from his arm, although that wouldn't have been what killed him. Shalon then looks at her mother's corpse, turning it over to see the burned-out eyes. She asks Pattern why her mother tried to kill her, before remembering that day. Her mother had learned what she could do, calling her one of them. Her father had struggled with her mother's friend, who had a knife, but Shalon's mother took the knife and came at Shalon. Shalon had summoned a shardblade and killed her mother, and her father had taken the blame and had destroyed him and their family. She says she hates Pattern, and he says he knows, and that one day she will kill him and have her revenge. Shalon replies that she doesn't want revenge, she just wants her family. So what do you think about the reveal of Shalon's mother trying to kill her for being a Radiant?
Why would she want to kill her for that, though?
That is the question, isn't it?
Yeah, apparently her mother was not happy. Her powers.
Maybe she didn't want her to be there because she knew that maybe she was more well-informed than we know. And she knew that if the Radiance came back, then everything else is probably coming back too.
You think maybe she had information from either the Ghost Bloods or the Sons of Honor?
Yeah.
Was a ghost blood.
So we move to Amram's point of view as he writes sloppy glyphs to Rastaris. He says they had been successful as the Voidbringers had returned. He calls their group the Sons of Honor and says that their goal was to bring a crisis to bring back the Heralds and the dominance of the Church. Once he was done writing, he hands off the note to a woman driving the coach to later send via Spanreed to Rastaris. All of Amram's maps and notes were in a trunk with him. He then puts up his hood and heads into Dalnar's war camp, thinking that Gavlar would be proud. So what do you think about the goals of the Sons of Honor?
What was the goal again?
Their goal is apparently to bring back the Heralds and the dominance of the Church through creating some sort of crisis, such as bringing back the Voidbringers. So he basically wants Church supremacy.
Good way to do it.
I mean,
Church
yeah,
controls
that's
all.
actually true.
Yeah, the church controls all, so.
Apparently people don't like that. That's why Ardens are property, because the Church tried to do that in the past and they fucked up a whole bunch of shit. So Emram goes to the monastery where the insane are kept, going around back and using his shardblade to cut a hole into the wall of the room where Talon was kept. He tells the heralds that they need to leave, but the man still mumbles to himself, so Amram slowly helps him up. As they begin to move, he suddenly sees Talon's head jerk upwards, and he catches a small dart. Amram turns to hear another dart being blown, and Talon catches that one as well. A person with a half mask over their face was there, and Amram thinks that the Ghostbloods were trying to kill him. Amram tries to chase after the Ghostblood, but he was too slow and went back to Talon, who had slowly sat back down in his bed to mutter to himself some more. Amram slowly helps the men up, and they leave. So what do you think about Amram going to grab Talon?
Oh, right, that's that guy.
The crazy herald.
He's not crazy.
I mean, he's
What
gone a
is he,
little
Darkness?
insane from years of torture.
What is he, Darkness? If he's not crazy, what is he?
He's probably more sane than most of them, honestly.
For what?
Do you have any thoughts about Amram taking Talon, Mythic?
Wait, who took him?
Amram took him.
What did Abraham take him? I don't remember that. I thought it was, what's his notes? I thought it was the other guy.
What?
Oh, I don't know. I thought it was the other guy. Can't remember who the. I don't remember names.
I have no idea who you think may have taken him. Yeah, it was Amram. Amram took the Herald.
The other crazy guy. Can't remember his name. The guy who's whatever reading the prophecies or whatever.
Taravangian?
Yeah, that guy. I thought it was him.
Taravangian is nowhere near the Shattered Plains.
Yeah, well, you know,
I think he's
Crazy
either
shit
in. I
happens.
think he's in Yakaved right now.
crazy things happen. So
Midnight.
Hmm.
Midnight.
Hmm.
In a world
in a
where
world
magic does
where
so
magic-
much different shit, right? You expect us to believe there's no form of like traveling faster than
I mean,
a
there's the
normal
Oath
person
Gates,
should.
but the Oath Gates are all locked up apparently.
Okay, but like that's the Radiant side. What about the opposing side?
Don't know.
Exactly. You don't.
I mean, Taravangian seems to be against wanting to like save people from the Voidbringers, so I don't think he'd be working with whatever crazy magic Odium might have.
So you think it's a one side versus one side type of thing?
Well, as far as we know, the Voidbringers seem to be working with Odium. They have like because everyone keeps saying they have his powers, and then there's a bunch of different groups who are technically anti Voidbringer, but some of them are like using the Voidbringers to also be anti Voidbringer. Like the Sons of Arms are like, we're gonna bring back the Voidbringers, but what we really want is the Heralds, and in order to bring back the Heralds, we need to give them something to fight. So technically they're on the side of the Heralds, but still not really the good guys. And then Taravangian's also like, I know that this stuff's gonna happen, so I want to do what I can to save humanity in my own way. So he's not technically on the side of our guys because he's trying to kill Dalinar and stuff, but also he's not on the side of Odium either. As far as we know, the only people on the side of Odium are the Voidbringers. Everyone else is just random either neutral parties or like kind of good, kind of evil parties.
Wow, that was pretty good. Wow. Yeah. Did you understand that, Mythic?
Nope.
Me neither.
I feel like it was pretty clear.
Nah, I feel like a better way of saying it is there's no good or evil in the world.
Just evil. You're right.
You know, I mean, everything's evil to somebody, right?
Lots of shades of gray.
You're gray.
Okay. So we then move to Zeth's point of view. Let's go with Zeth's point of view. As he opens his eyes and then immediately closes them, stating he was dead, and then asking why he wasn't dead. And then we have Darkness is here.
Darkness!
Darkness with the crescent moon on his face tells Zeth that he did die, and Zeth sees him tuck something glowing into his pocket, possibly a Fabrial. Zeth says he recognizes the man from somewhere, and Darkness agrees. Darkness states that he brought Zeth back to life moments after he died, but that Zeth should not be surprised by this, as 2 of the honor blades his people hold have regrowth as a surge. So yeah, what did you think about Darkness showing up to bring Zeth back to life?
Darkness!
Darkness, you're a herald.
Yes, I am.
Herald of Justice.
No, I'm not.
Darkness is Naylan, Herald of Justice. So Darkness then prompts Zeth to recognize who he is, and Zeth replies that Darkness is Naylan, Herald of Justice. Zeth states that he wants to be dead, and Naylan asks if that is what Zeth really wants. Zeth thinks for a moment before replying.
Hilarious. Darkness had Nightblood.
Yeah, apparently Darkness. We'll get to that. Darkness had Nightblood the whole time, secretly.
No, crazy.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So, where was I? Zeth thinks for a moment before replying that no, he was made truthless, but his people were wrong. Naylan mentions having Zeth study under him, but Zeth replies that he is not worthy. Naylan replies that he watched Zeth destroy himself to follow his orders, and that there was no one more worthy of being a Skybreaker than him. So what do you think
I
about
agree.
Naylan recruiting Zeth to the Skybreakers?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I called that.
Yeah, you did, because you were
Right.
like, he's gonna still be
So,
flying,
yeah,
so he needs to be one of the ones, the other
I just want him to
group.
be, I want him to be everything, okay? He has to have everything, and he got Nightblood, so he's gonna win in the end, because he's awesome.
So yeah, this is the group. So obviously, Shallan's brother was also working under Darkness as a Skybreaker,
Yeah.
apparently.
Shocker.
That's where he
Not
got
a
his
shocker at
Shardblade
all.
from. Darkness apparently
Yeah.
gave him a Shardblade.
Yeah, Darkness gives him everything. Yeah, Darkness gives out everything, you know? It's about like Shallan with secrets.
So yeah, this is a whole other faction that's apparently run by Darkness.
Yeah.
So this is the one order of the Knights Radiant that never disappeared. We've gotten hints about that there was one order that did not fall during the Recreants, and that was the Skybreakers. So the Skybreakers have been hanging out under Darkness, apparently.
So, alright. So, of all of the people we have now, right?
Mhm.
We have a Windrunner, a Skybreaker.
A Lightweaver.
What was the one woman? The
Elsecaller.
Bondsmith?
one that could eat
Oh,
things
Lift.
and
She's an edge
Yeah,
dancer.
Edge Dancer. I'm going around the list. We
Oh,
don't
okay,
have a
sorry.
Dustbringer, right? We don't
We
have
do
a
not have a
Dustbringer, right?
Dustbringer. No.
All right. We have a Truth Watcher.
Yep.
We have a Lightweaver.
Yep.
I don't know what the fuck that is.
Elf Scholar is Yasna.
Oh shit! I thought she was a Will Shaper. Okay.
No, Darkness is the well. Darkness is in our Darkness, not Nalen is a Will Shaper.
Okay.
Because
so,
remember, Yasna and Shalon shared the soul casting surge.
we don't have a Will Shaper then,
We do not have a Will Shaper.
or
So
a Stone Ward. We have Bond Smith though.
yeah. So I think there's I think there's the 3. We're
Three
missing
missing?
3 of them.
Hmm.
Missing Dustbringer, Stone Ward, and Will Shaper.
What's his nuts? Shit. What's the guy's name? What's the guy's name you like so much, Darkness?
I forgot.
Wow, really? You don't remember his name either? Oh shit.
Well, it's just I like a lot of characters, so I don't know which one you're talking about.
The one that got his arm back. What's his name?
Oh, Lopin?
Lopin!
Yeah, Lopin. What is he?
Good
The
question.
best.
We don't know. We haven't seen a spread. We've
Well,
only seen him taking
that's what I'm saying,
Stormlight.
so he hasn't been given. So he hasn't been given one, is what you're saying? Okay.
We've not been told what he is.
Okay. So Lopin, we're missing Edge Dancer, Will Shaper.
No, we're not missing Edge Dancer. We have Edge Dancer. We're missing Dustbringer.
Dustbringer. Okay, so brave and confident, obedient, right? Brave and obedient. No, I don't think that. Dependable and resourceful, resolute builder. I mean, we've already kind of figured out that they're all terrible with their second thing. Well, are they? I don't know. Is he? I don't think he's really that pious, is he?
Who?
Dalinar?
Dalinar's been very much like, I want to figure out things about the Almighty. I want to like follow in Noadon's. Like he's very like worshipping of like Noadon and the Way of Kings. Like he might not be pious in like the I pray every day, but I think he's very like focused on like he does like very much like follow devoutly a lot of different things. Like he was very devout towards the visions he was receiving and everything in the Way of Kings book.
He didn't show power though, right? He just was sucking in Stormlight, like right. He didn't like. I don't think anything was shown. Like he wasn't
Dalinar.
open.
Oh, Lopin. Yeah, Lopin only. We don't even know if he's said the first ideal yet. All we've seen is him taking a little bit of Stormlight, which, as far as we know, Kaladin might have been able to do before he fully like said the first ideal. Like we don't know if Lopin's like on his like the very first step to becoming like a first ideal something, or if he's technically said the first ideal but didn't notice that it worked until now. Because remember, he'd been trying to say it a few times, I think. The first ideal, because he's like, I want to become like you, Kaladin, I want to fly and everything. But, like, it wasn't working. So he might have said the first ideal, but not realized that it, like, actually worked for him yet. So it took Kaladin quite a while to be able to breathe in Stormlight, like, consciously.
Okay.
So yeah, we don't fully know where Lopin is at.
The only one I could think he would fit. The only other one I think he would be the Stone Ward, in my opinion. But, because he is pretty dependable. But, I don't know. Because it doesn't seem like he's any of that shit.
Remember, Will Shapers are also the ones that are, like, very, like, the most like all over the place one. So I feel like he could also be a Will Shaper. I just don't think
Resolute though, right? Unless I'm reading this wrong. The first one is Resolute, right?
Yeah, well remember we kind of related Resolute to be kind of like almost like how Darkness is very like stubborn and stuff. Like it's just very like sure of yourself. We talked about that before. Lopin is definitely not a Dustbringer. I'll tell you that. He's nowhere near being a Dustbringer.
Yeah, I don't think he's I didn't say Dustbringer.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like I'll confirm like he's definitely not a Dustbringer.
You're right. The only thing he brings is the ladies.
I don't know. He could fit a lot of things, but
it's hard to really know until like because we haven't gotten a lot of Lopin POV, so like a lot of it's a lot of like what means a lot to you, but also what you struggle with, and mostly what we've seen of Lopin is just him kind of joking around with people. We don't see a lot of like his inner thoughts.
You know what? Just because of Darkness, just because Darkness is like belief in him and all of that, I think he's gonna be a Windrunner. Gonna be he's gonna get like the abilities of Windrunner. He's gotta fly, man.
Footsteps.
He's gotta fly, man.
I mean, there's another one that can fly too, right?
Yeah, that's the Skybreakers though.
He's not that's not happening.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think he's very similar to Nalen or Zeth.
No, he's not gonna be a Skybreaker. He'll be a Windrunner, that's for sure.
If he's flying, he's a Windrunner.
Yeah, he has to fly. That's his whole idea. I mean, everybody has different ideals, right? Aside from the first one.
Yeah, so like they'll have like a similar theme, but it's not going to be word for word the exact same. So all Windrunners have like a protection theme to them, but they all have like their own kind of spin on that. Anyways, finishing off this chapter, we gotta still get to Nightblood. Nayland states that Zeth died and has now been reborn. Seth considers this and sits up, wondering if he truly could be reborn. Nayland then says he has brought a replacement Shardblade for Zeth and throws it across the ground towards him. Zeth stares at it in surprise as it is sheathed, the blade completely black beneath the metal. Black smoke came out from the blade, and a cheery voice spoke into Zeth's mind, asking if he'd like to destroy some evil today. So why do you think Nayland had Nightblood?
What's his nuts? Threw it away.
You think Vasher just threw it away and Nayland just happened to
Yep.
pick it up?
Yeah, here you go. Just threw it away. He said, "You're too much for me, Nightblood. I'm leaving you. Goodbye." And he just threw it away.
What do you think?
That's
Decus?
before or after? Is it after? After Warbreaker, right?
This is after Warbreaker, yes.
Okay.
Harsh.
Cool. Lovely.
Yeah, Midnight wouldn't have us read books out of order. Like, what? Totally not.
But also, what do you think of Zeth now being in charge of Nightblood? You think that's a good
The
combination?
world is over. World is over. World is over. Seth wins. No one can beat him ever again.
That means Vasher's gonna pull up again.
Vasher's already here.
Vasher, yeah. Do you guys think Vasher's in Urithiru, or do you think he kind of? Well, no, he stayed behind because he was there when Kaladin was still there. So he's probably on his way to Urithiru along with the rest of Dalnar's war camp,
Yeah.
unless he's wandered off somewhere.
Vasher is going to win everything. Or I'm sorry, no, Seth is going to
No,
win
you're right.
everything.
No, you're right.
No, Seth. Seth is going to murder everybody with Nightblood. And we're gonna finally get to see Nightblood being unsheathed for real, not just unsheathed for like half a second. Like I can't wait. I can't wait to see what happens when Nightblood is like, unsheathe me, and Zeth is like, okay.
So chapter 84 is called The Four. Our epigraph is, there has been an answer. What is the answer? Stop. The Parshendi. One of them. Yes, they are the missing piece. Push for the Alethi to destroy them outright before this one obtains their power. It will form a bridge. From the diagram, floorboard 17, paragraph 2, every second letter starting with the second. So what do you think the one Parshendi is that the diagram references?
That one
They're all gonna combine together into one massive Parshendi.
Repeat it.
It says, there has been an answer. What is the answer? Stop the Parshendi. One of them. Yes, they are the missing piece. Push for the Alethi to destroy them outright before this one obtains their power. It will form a bridge.
So it's Shen, or whatever his name is.
Relaine?
You think it's
Yeah.
Relaine?
Mm.
Relaine can't gain power, or the whole world is
No,
over?
it's already happened.
You think?
Yeah.
No, I think the Everstorm's coming or whatever that is supposedly going to transform all of them.
This
That's
sounds
what
like it
it's-
literally already happened. Like they're pushing against the Parshendi, right?
Mhm.
Which is the thing they had to do, the whole war thingy, right?
Yeah.
And then they found Arlane or whatever before he could get the power that they want, that like the other people got, that are his people, you know,
Mm.
the storm for him.
So you think Relaine's going to get Stormform at some point?
I think he's gonna be forced into it.
I feel like it's
Due
a
to
lot
the
less
Everstorm.
that and a lot more the fact that he didn't get it, which is why he fits the description.
Either that, or the one it's talking about is what's her nuts' sister. Because I don't like that bitch anyways.
But she already got it.
Venli? Or
Yeah, but
Eshonai?
I mean, what if who's the one that died?
The one that died is
thing?
Eshonai. Venli was the scholar.
Her sister. Her sister.
Okay, so Venli.
There you go.
Do you think it
I
could
don't
be
remember
Venli and Darkness thinks it's probably Relaine?
Right. I mean, I said it's either way. I think I think it could be either one of them,
I
but
like
for different
I
reasons.
like-
I
I
don't
like
think
the
it's if it's her. I don't think it's Stormform that it's referencing.
Mm.
If it's Relaine, I think it is Stormform that's referencing.
Okay.
I like the fact that it mentions it'll build a bridge because he's part of Bridge 4.
Yeah.
Funny.
He's always Bridge 4. So we switch to Dalnar's point of view as he stands in darkness in his childhood home. Gavilar is laughing in another room.
He's standing inside you, Darkness?
Everyone apparently is like obsessed with me this like session.
Dalnar steps out onto a balcony and warm light bathes him before he wakes up in his rooms in Urithiru. They had been in the tower for a week now, the high storm having passed and recharged their spears, but the Everstorm was expected to come back to the continent in a day or so. Dalnar wondered if that dream had been a vision, but there was no high storm to trigger it. So do you think this look into his past was a vision or a dream?
Just as Storm Daddy said, it's a dream.
Wait. God damn it! I'm gonna make you repeat that.
Okay,
Do
so
it.
Dalnar has like this like dream about being in his childhood home with Gavilar.
Mhm.
And he says later that like it felt like just as strong, if not stronger, than the visions you would normally get during a high storm. But the Stormfather says that it wasn't a vision.
So it was a memory.
Possibly, but like he was seeing it while he slept. So do you think there was like some sort of like do you think it was like a dream of a memory, or do you think like something happened where he like was seeing into his own past, like he would in a vision?
Wait,
Oh,
do y'all
that's the
not
other
dream
guy.
about your memories? Like, wait,
Well,
don't.
yeah, but that's still a dream. That's what I'm saying. Like, do you think it was like
Well, I don't
just
dream,
a
though.
dream, or do you think it was something else?
yeah, I'm gonna say it's a memory and not just a dream. Don't know why it happened, but it happened.
I see.
Also, why the fuck is seeing into the future of the Stormbringer of the Windbringers or whatever?
I believe.
Because Renarin can do it.
Yeah, so I think it was just so I think we've talked about this a little bit before, where like pretty much every shard can kind of see into the future in a way, because like Preservation was able to. That's how he was kind of sort of like able to plan the whole Vin thing. Like Ruin was able to see into the future, which was how he was planning some stuff. Like, but I think apparently it seems like Odium has like some sort of affinity for seeing into the future. He's like better at it than some other shards, and Tanavest was not very good at it. So I think, and like we don't know what sort of powers Odium's like Spren give to like the like all of the powers they might give to the Parshendi. So it seems like at least between Odium and Honor, Odium was much better at seeing the future, and that's why it seems like maybe it was related to him in some way.
You're right.
Hmm?
Renarin is the traitor.
I think Renarin's the traitor. My one
wish.
truth watcher buddy is the traitor.
I fucking wish.
That is who I think the traitor is. So, I mean, the man can see the future, and he didn't tell nobody about things. So, traitor.
So we switch to Adolin's point of view as he wanders the halls of Urithiru, contemplating how Shallan now likely outranked him and wondered what he was. He marks the walls with chalk as he explores, knowing that they could likely explore Urithiru for months and still not have been in every room. He had gotten far from his scouting party, and he heard voices up ahead. He covers his lantern and wanders up ahead to see Sadeas with his own scouting party. They go ahead, and Sadeas stays behind to look at a mural of a mythological creature from children's stories, a large mink with hair all around its neck. I wonder what that is. This large mink with a mane. Adolin then turns.
That's right.
Yeah, no, that's right, for sure.
Adolin then turns to go, but Sadeas hears him and calls out to him. He claims it is convenient that Dalinar has one of the Parshendi in his own guard, and that both the Radiants are so close to him. Adolin can tell that Sadeas doesn't believe this, but it is the lie he will tell people. Adolin says that things don't have to be this way, but Sadeas says they do, as Dalinar would never trust him again, so he will take everything from him. So what do you think about these lies that Sadeas wanted to spread about, like it being like all too convenient that all these things are happening around Dalinar?
He needs to get a life.
I agree. Get a life. Oh.
Yeah, good luck to him with that after this.
Does he not? Oh, you're right. But like, does he not have a wife to take care of or some shit?
He does. She was there a minute ago. She wandered off with the scouting party.
Right. Go with her. Mind your business.
So Adolin snaps and grabs Sadeas by the neck, slamming him into the wall and choking off his cries for help. Sadeas does his best to break the hold, but causes them both to fall to the ground. They struggle until Adolin is on top, and he tries to stab Sadeas in the face with his side knife, although Sadeas catches his wrist. Adolin tells Sadeas that his father thinks him a better man than he is, but unfortunately for Sadeas, Dalinar is wrong. Sadeas whimpers, but Adolin shoves his knife through Sadeas' eye into his brain, twisting the knife to make sure he kills him. Adolin quickly stumbles away to avoid getting blood on himself, although some got on his cuffs already. Sadeas' blade forms next to him. Adolin throws it out of a nearby window. He then cuts off his bloody cuffs and gets rid of the chalk marking on the wall before going to find his scouting party. So what do you think about Adolin killing Sadeas and then throwing away the shard blade?
That was great. Except for the part where he threw the shard blade, but you know, that was great.
Yeah, I agree.
What do you think about Sadeas being fucking killed? Not even by a shard blade, just by like a knife to the brain through the eye.
I'm happy he's dead.
He had it coming.
He had it coming. He had it coming.
We move back to Dalinar's point of view as he opens a trapdoor in the ceiling to get out onto the roof, having to cut around the door to get rid of the creme buildup. The roof was extremely high up, and he had ridden most of the way up here on a Fabrial lift that Navani had discovered and gotten working. As he looks down, he sees the tower had tiers that slowly expand outwards, and each tier has a planter to grow food on. He then glances out at the oath gates, seeing the one to the Shire Plains flash as Hatham's people are transported to Urithiru. Dalinar is sure there's an oath gate in Kholinar, but Shallan had told him she thinks that Yasna tried to open it, but that all of the oath gates except the one on the Shire Plains had been locked. Dalinar then begins shouting at the sky, asking why the Stormfather sent him the visions, but then tried to get rid of them all when he tried to follow them. The Stormfather replies after a moment, stating that the Almighty had demanded that he send the visions when the time was right. Downer asks why the Stormfather chose him, and the Stormfather replies that it doesn't matter, as Downer was too slow and has failed. The Stormfather also explains that he was the Almighty's friend, and the Almighty had wished for him to find him, but humans had killed his kind. So what do you think about the Stormfather not kind of refusing to tell Downer why he chose him?
Storm Daddy, I don't know why you wouldn't do that. Like, come on. Don't you think it would have helped?
I don't like him.
You don't like
Who,
the
Storm
Stormfather?
Daddy?
Yeah.
Who do you not like, Darkness?
Yeah.
Yeah, Stormfather's kind of an asshole.
Yeah. Well, I'm so glad he's imprisoned now.
So
Bound.
Downer then asks about the Everstorm, and the Stormfather continues that it will come regularly like a high storm, bringing new forms to the ancients. Downer thinks that he had reached out to the different kingdoms, but none had listened except Taravangian, who had stumbled into his position in Yakaved, now being king of 2 kingdoms. Downer then states, yeah, he definitely stumbled into that position. Downer states he needs to join the Knights Radiant and shouts the first oath at the sky. The Stormfather angrily replies that he will not be bound and killed by a man. Downer says he knows that each order is different, that after the first oath, each order has a different oath. He thinks for a moment before saying he knows the second oath. I will unite instead of divide. I will bring men together. The Stormfather reluctantly accepts Downer's words, but tells Downer that he will not be a sword for him, and that Downer will need to get rid of the monstrosity he is bonded to. Downer instantly summons his blade and drops it as soon as he hears the screams, instantly breaking the bond. So what do you think about Downer forcing the Stormfather into a bond?
Imprisoned him by force.
I wonder if someone can do that with the Night Watcher. Or if someone already has.
Good question.
What if it's one of their, like, desires or whatever, that they come to him and be like, I want to imprison you?
What if it's... No.
No? No what?
What were you going to say, Darkness?
Come on, Darkness.
No, don't worry about it. Anyway,
Darkness, come on. Maybe it'll come true. Come on.
what's the next question?
The next question is, what do you think of Downer's second ideal, which was, I will unite instead of divide, I will bring men together?
Oh, that's kind of not good. Because where's the women? But okay.
Oh my god. We'll bring the men together.
Actually, no, that's
Oh,
great.
no.
He's there for the gays.
we need a female bondsmith to unite the women.
Yeah, it'll be
Downer only
it'll be the
unites the
girl.
men.
It'll be the woman. It'll be the woman that he's with or whatever.
Navani?
Yep.
She gonna bond the Night Watcher?
Yeah.
So Downer then asks about the vision he saw this morning, but the Stormfather insists he sent no vision, that it must have been a normal dream. Downer thinks it felt like a vision, even stronger. Stormfather then calls Downer a bondsmith, but says he will fail to Odium. Downer replies that if Odium killed the Almighty, then Odium can be killed as well. He tries to ask the Stormfather about the challenge and the champion, but the Stormfather doesn't respond, so Downer leaves that for now. So what do you think about how little faith the Stormfather has in Downer defeating Odium?
Storm Daddy seems to have a lot less faith in everything in general. So
Why
even
is he
his
in the
own daughter.
position he's in if he's just gonna do that?
Yeah.
It sounds like he's mostly doing what he's doing because Tanavas told him to, and Stormfather's like really attached to Tanavas, so he's like, I'll do what Tanavas told me to, even if I'm not happy about it.
Yeah. Sounds a lot like some other people we know named Seth. Do what I'm told, but I don't think I'm happy about it.
So
And
Downer,
now he's no longer has to do that because he has Nightblood and he's gonna go murder every last fucking person.
Downer then,
Yeah, because the person that spent most of their life murdering people when he didn't want to is gonna go murder people again.
Yes, I honestly think he's gonna go murder the dude who was controlling him at the
No,
end.
that's
there.
valid. Yeah, but he's not
He's
gonna
gonna go
murder
kill
everyone.
him. I
or
think
most
he's. I mean,
people.
I think Nightblood's gonna force him to murder everybody. He was bound to one master and now he's bound to another in his sword.
so Downer then heads down from the roof and into a room with unsupported glass and 10 pillars with a single one in the center. Kaladin and Shallan are also there, and Downer takes out a spear and sucks in the stormlight. His wounds heal, and Downer thinks he had felt that feeling before, wondering if he had sucked in stormlight to heal previously. Kaladin complains about Downer doing that first try, and Downer tells them that the Stormfather called him a bondsmith. Shallan states that there are 3 of them, until Renarin enters the room and replies that there are 4. Downer pieces together that Renarin stopped wearing his glasses because stormlight healed his eyes, and he acted so strangely during the duel because he was hearing the screams of the Shardblade he carried. Renarin states that his friend, Gliss, calls him a truth watcher. When Kaladin asks what he does, he states that he sees, which very descriptive.
See.
Very
I
descriptive,
see, yeah.
Renarin.
Yeah, totally. I mean, but we already know he sees the future, so.
I mean, technically Shallan should know that. But she wasn't really paying attention to his mumbling. She was like, just shut him up already.
He sees the future. And if he would have just been a little more outspoken and told people the future, we wouldn't be in this situation.
I wonder if it's the future or a future.
Mm. Well, I know generally what the shards see is they say that they see all possible futures, which is why it's
Oh
hard for
god,
them.
that would suck.
So it's a future.
Yeah, so
Oh
we
my
don't. So
God.
we don't know if he's getting like multiple versions or if he's getting like the most likely version. Like we don't know because we haven't really gotten a Renarin point of view.
Well, yeah, because once you see the future and you go to change it, it splits and becomes a different future, and then
Yeah, I think that's why like preservation was always like to like Kelsier and stuff. He was like, I mean, it's hard to really know what's gonna happen. There's just like a probability of different things happening of all these different
Yeah.
futures, and it takes a long time to kind of make sense of them.
yeah, now he's just thrust into this life, and man, that's got to be hard. You see all these possible futures, and if you do something, it'll change the other one outcome, and then he's a traitor.
Does wait?
for sure.
So does every shard has a like
Power?
a future aspect, right?
Yeah, every shard can, because it's part of their like abilities, I believe, partially from their connection to the spiritual realm, so they can kind of see like all possible futures.
realm?
The spiritual realm. Remember, there's the three realms: the spiritual realm, the cognitive realm, and the physical realm.
Yeah.
Oh,
The spiritual
okay.
realm is said to be where the powers of the shards come from.
Mhm.
I don't remember that.
And I
Oh,
think it was
okay.
from Arcanum Bad, so it was a while
yeah,
ago.
it was. Mhm.
That makes sense. Okay.
But yeah, so that's why I'm saying like I think maybe Odium might just be better at kind of making sense of all those possible futures than some of the other shards are, and that's why maybe they relate seeing the future to Odium. That's just my guess. So
So if that's how that works, then what was Warbreaker's future power related thingy?
well, remember Endowment? When people die, Endowment kind of gives them the ability to see like the potential futures around them, and then they decide if they want to return or not. But in the process of returning, they lose their memory. So that's why they have like the whole like I'm here for a reason type thing, even though I don't know what that reason is.
Oh, okay.
So like we found out that Lightsong like saw the future of like the war that was coming between Halandrin and Idris, and that's why he returned because he could stop it. He
But
saw
then he
that
forgot about it, so.
and then he didn't believe that it was real. He came back for a reason. So yeah. But yeah, so that's what the returned are. Is there people that feel like they can make a difference for some reason or another, so they return.
It was just random, and they're all just kooks.
Wouldn't you just want to return, even if?
Yep.
I think Endowment only chooses people who could make a difference in some way to allow them the choice to return. I don't think she
So
lets
technically,
everyone.
it's not their choice.
Well, she gives them the choice. Like you can still say no.
The only. Well, then at that point, she doesn't give them the choice. She gives them the option to say no, but that's it.
I mean, giving an option is a choice.
No, but that's the thing, though. She's not giving them all the choice. Though.
Midnight. If you were on death's door and I gave you the choice between dying or coming back to life, is that really a choice, though?
I mean, Finn chose to continue dying with Elend instead of coming back to life as a cognitive shadow. Remember during Secret History? I think it depends where you are in your life. Some people might be like, "Nah, I'm done. I'm good."
I still feel like it's not a choice, though. It's not much of a choice.
I feel
Only
like
certain people I feel like would be like that. Would have that. I feel like for most
I
people,
feel like
there's not much of a choice there.
also I feel like it's even worse if they show you what life is like if you did return.
If they show you what life is like without you returning, that probably makes it worse for sure.
But I think also returning, you know that you won't remember things, so you like know that there's a chance that you won't be able to do anything.
Do you though?
Yeah, because she shows them like what will happen, what could happen, like the possibilities. So I'm sure they know that they're not going to remember things. Because also like they were like, especially if they're from Halandra, like they know that the gods don't have memory of their previous lives. But yeah, so Dalaran then states that the other orders will be returning as well, and that they will need them. He mentions that the Stormfather confirmed that the Everstorm would keep coming, and that it would turn the Parshmen into Voidbringers. Kaladin states that he needs to go to his hometown to find his parents, as his city lord keeps Parshmen. Dalinar agrees to let Kaladin go, even though they don't have much stormlight. Kaladin says he'll make a pack and leave within the hour. Dalinar then sends Renarin off to speak with Elhokar, who had come with a group of Rhodesians, about some emerald bromes for Kaladin. Shallan speaks to Dalinar about how few of them there are against the coming storm, but Dalinar says they will do what they can. So what do you think about Kaladin wanting to rush home to save his parents?
Kaladin wanting to rush what?
Home.
Rush home to save the traitorous parents once they gave him away.
I'm
Give him
excited
away.
to see their reaction to what he's become.
For all we know, like they could think he's dead. We don't even know if they know he's alive at this point.
I know, but he's gonna pull up. So
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That like they might be shocked that he's alive even.
I thought you were dead. I thought you died in the war. We were mourning 2 children.
Yeah, like Kaladin's like barely thought of his parents this whole time. He's like, yeah, I don't even talk to them. I don't let them know I'm alive. But now I'm suddenly gonna go home and save them.
They don't even know that I had his name and I completely
Tien?
blanked. Tien died, right?
I think they do know Tien died. I think he says in the first book or something that he did let them know that
I thought
Tien
he
was
said that he was telling them that he was fine.
I don't remember. I thought they knew that Tien was dead, and then I thought Kaladin had told them like it was his fault or something.
Really? I swear he was like, "Oh, he's fine," because he don't like have the heart to tell them.
I don't remember
But
fully.
maybe I might be tripping. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure his parents know Tien's dead, but they don't know what happened to Kaladin. Because Kaladin specifically says he never like reached out to them.
Of course he didn't.
So we get our epilogue, our wit epilogue that we always get, called Art and Expectation. Wit
All
says-
the epilogues are wit.
I told you that last episode, yeah.
I
All the
know.
epilogues are gonna be wit. So
I know.
we
That's
switched-
only for Stormlight, though, right?
Yeah, only for Stormlight.
Yeah, I don't think we've gotten epilogues that are only wit before.
No, Stormlight epilogues are wit POVs.
Gotcha.
So So Wit is sitting awaiting the end of eras, contemplating the beauty of nature. He's met with silence, and Wit says he prefers to be around intelligent life as he stares down at the lizard crab thing that was near him.
It
Wait.
was intelligent.
He waits by a river, thinking on the life forms here, such as how he was surprised by the Rhyshadiums, glad there were still some that could do what they do. He tries to mimic some songlings with his flute, but the sounds don't quite match up, even though the songlings creak along with him. He rambles on about art for a bit before going into a brief story about a farmer going into a city and saving a princess from being trampled. Shenanigans ensue, and somehow the farmer wipes his butt with a famous painting. So what do you think about the paraphrase story that Wit gives to this Kremling?
Hilarious. Always the storyteller, no matter the audience.
What do you think, Darkness, about Wit's story?
That was the best story I've ever heard. It really the central subject and the topic, it was just all
Yeah, no, you're talking about
perfect.
how like the people thought the empty painting frame was a work of art, and like it's all about art is all about expectations, which I think you disagreed with before because he said that to the people at the epilogue of book 1.
Oh, disagreed with that.
I think Darkness disagreed with it
Wow.
I have no idea. I don't remember.
because he asked
Barely
what
remember
like
what you ate yesterday.
or no, he asked what the most important thing to people were, and I think that it wasn't just what art is it was what humanity values the most, and he said it was like something about I don't remember the exact wording. It was something about like expectations or something.
Exclamation.
How can you not remember when you write notes? Come on.
'Cause it's been a long time.
Just go get your notes.
It's been a long.
Where's my notes from the first book? Way of Kings. Epilogue of most worth. What do men value the most in others? What
Your mama.
replies that it was... Oh, he says it's novelty. It's what people value most.
There you go.
No matter how artistic or intelligent you are, you aren't the first to do something that isn't valued.
Sure.
So Wit continues to ramble on about art and music for a while before admitting that he is waiting for someone. As the songman begins to sing again, Wit lazes in a pose until a circle of light appears and Yasna Colon steps out of it, looking disheveled. Yasna turns to see Wit and immediately summons a long silvery shardblade in her hand. Yasna threatens Wit with her shardblade, but Wit just says that she made a big commotion on the other side and he doubts her blade would do much harm to him. Yasna releases her blade and begins saying that she has important work to do, but Wit replies that everything that she mentioned is already done. So what do you think about Yasna being at least at the third ideal as she has her own shardblade?
Oh, it's just I feel like her and Wit got a thing going on. But
Think so?
Yeah. It's that love-hate relationship thing.
Not her and Amram like her father wanted?
Nah, fuck that.
Ugh. Oh, never.
Fucking Hoyt and her. Hell yeah. Mm-hmm.
What do you think, Darkness, about Yasna having a shardblade now?
Yeah, a sharp blade now.
She got it in Shadesmar.
Yeah, we don't know when she got her third ideal at this point. It could have been during Shadesmar or it could have been beforehand. You
She
think
said
that
it.
would've-
She said it during her death.
Wait, that's not.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Also, what do you think about shardblades not being dangerous to Wit?
Nothing is dangerous to Wit.
Because he doesn't have a soul.
Can't cut his soul away if he has no soul.
Yeah. Maybe his connection to Shadesmar is different.
So Yasna begins walking as Wit says that they can both learn things from each other, but that she else called a week out from civilization.
But I don't feel like. I feel like. What are you gonna learn from her? Don't you already know everything?
Apparently he thinks that she might have learned some stuff in Shadesmar that he doesn't know about.
I don't know about
Wit also explains that the Everstorm is going to bring the transformation to the Parshman, which Yasna replies isn't how it used to work. But Wit says things have changed. Yasna says that what she learned from the High Friend could be untrue if things are different, and they can't look to the past writings or trust the fake god. Wit replies that she shouldn't be so sure there isn't a god, but he isn't talking about Tanabast. He says that God is in the hearts of men, which Yasna agrees with, although she thinks for a different reason than Wit may believe. So what do you think Yasna may have learned in her journey through Shadesmar?
Too much. She's too smart now. No, she's gonna come murder everybody instead of just bad people.
She learned how to seduce Spren.
Okay.
Too bad she can't seduce Wit.
What do you mean? Wit's trying to seduce her?
Yeah, but she can't do the other way around. It's not in her nature.
So that was our final chapter, obviously. We have our book overview now. But first of all, what did you overall think of Words of Radiance?
What is Words of Radiance?
Nice. The whole book was a whole roller coaster for me because I hated people, I loved people, and I hated them again. But
What did you think, Mythic?
About this book?
Yeah.
Meh.
Meh?
oh wow.
It was only good It was only good at the end.
Did you like Words of Radiance or Way of Kings better?
I don't like either one of them.
Okay.
No, Words of Radiance because it has Nightblood in it.
What did you like better, Darkness?
The first one.
Way of Kings?
Yeah.
How do you like Stormlight compared to Brandon's other worlds? So, like, did you like Elantris, Warbreaker, Mistborn, Stormlight the best?
Warbreaker is best. It needs a sequel. Warbreaker is best.
Mhm.
It even set up for a sequel too, so
I
I
know.
don't understand why I don't have one. Just needs a sequel, man. I don't care what you say. I'm reading that book the moment it comes out.
Oh my gosh.
It's happening.
What do you
Because we're not gonna get to it. First off, we're not gonna get to it for like years. By the
Well,
time we get back to it, then I'll reread it and I've forgotten everything.
I mean,
So,
as long as it doesn't have spoilers for other books, I'd be happy to do it like pretty quickly after it comes out.
so are you gonna read? You're telling me you're gonna read through the whole thing fast?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Depending on the length of it, I could probably finish it in a day or two.
Mhm.
Yeah, so what do you think though is going to happen with Zeth now that he's joined the Skybreakers and has Nightblood?
Gonna murder everybody. Well, at least murder the one dude. At the very least.
Caravangian?
Yeah, at the very least, he's dead, 100%. But I feel like Nightblood's just gonna like seduce him by his sweet words. So
What do you think's gonna happen with Zeth, Darkness?
He's got a bestie now, They're gonna just chill together. They both need a vacation.
I see. What do you think is going to happen with Shallan and the Ghostbloods?
well, obviously she's become a ghost blood, so she can't deny that now. She's a ghost blood.
You think Yasmin's gonna be happy about that when she gets back?
I feel like Yasna can't say shit. She died.
Right, stay dead.
Oh yeah, totally. But no, I think Yasna can't say shit because she died. So
Mm.
Shallan was on her own. Has to make decisions, fail all on her own. Hopefully she'll come up and see Yasna and be like, "Hey, I'm a ghost blood. I have to murder you again."
What do you think is going to happen with Kaladin on his journey out to see his parents?
His parents are gonna be dead.
They're not gonna like what he has become.
Think his parents won't like that he's a Radiant?
Nope, they're gonna hate it. More fighting for the family. Oh my goodness.
What
Yeah.
have you done? You're supposed to be a surgeon.
Oh yeah, that too. You gotta be a doctor.
Do you think the others at Bridge 4 are going to bond Spren and become Radiants?
Yes, all of them. Mostly Lopin.
Do you agree, Darkness? Do you think all of Bridge 4 is going to bond Spren?
All that matters is Lopin.
Also, if they all do bond Spren, are they all going to be Windrunners or are they going to be of a bunch of different orders?
No,
All
there's gonna be a
Windrunners.
bunch of different ones.
They're all gonna be Windrunners,
No, there's no way.
except Rock. Rock is gonna be the one outlier.
Rock is
see.
gonna be a regrowth.
He's gonna be a Stone Warden.
What ramifications do you think Sadeath's death is going to have?
None. 'Cause
His
he's
wife
not
is
even-
gonna
he's
go
not important.
crazy.
None, because he's not important.
I see. Do you think we're going to see Radiance from all three of the last three orders in the next book?
Yeah.
I hope so.
If we don't, I'm throwing hands. Just making that clear.
Also, what do you think is going to be the main plot for Oathbringer?
Bringing oaths.
Reproduction.
What?
What?
I agree. Reproduction.
All right. So.
Kaladin and Shallan have to get it on.
Oh, wait, what?
Adolin just has to watch because he's
God.
powerless.
Oh, that's
Because
even
everybody has
better.
powers
Yay.
except him.
All right. So that is the end of our final episode of Words of Radiance. We'll be doing our Edge Dancer trailer in a moment. First of all, let's thank our Patreons. Thank you to Hubris, Kyle, and Kaladin Dies in Book 3 for being our Patreons.
Oh my God!
So
What? Wait,
we
what?
are going to discuss whether
No
what
fucking
book
way!
we
No,
want to
you can't.
what
You
book
can't just go over that. What?
what book do we want to do after Edge Dancer,
Midnight?
guys?
No. What?
What?
What was that?
Yeah, thank you to our Patreons. We really appreciate you. What book do we want to move on to
No, you
after
can't
Edge
just
Dancer?
get over that.
I don't know what you're talking
did
about.
you say?
I just thanked our Patreons. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh my God! Darkness!
No,
What?
Kaladin dies! No!
no.
What?
Oh.
Yes, you guys.
God.
Do we want to go on to for our next book? Do we want to do Mistborn Era 2? Do we want to do
Oh, God.
Oathbringer, or do we want to do Tress of the Emerald Sea?
I don't even know. With the wonderful spoiler we just got, I kind of want to know.
So yeah, Mistborn Era 2 is 4 books, but most of them are quite a bit shorter than his other books. I think they're closer to like 400 pages instead of like 600 to 800 pages. So they'll go a little faster. Oathbringer is obviously just as long as these other ones, so it'll probably take us another 6 months to read through. And then Tress of the Emerald Sea, I think, is about the length of most of his books. And as I told you guys, Tress of the Emerald Sea is its own new planet. It's kind of a separate story, and it is kind of like Princess Bride inspired. It's much more like whimsical and fun than it is like.
You've never seen the movie Darkness. You have to go watch it.
No.
Yeah, it's much more of like it's like a fun kind of like adventure-y comedy more so than like a serious dark book. Much more fairy tale than like most of his other stuff.
Okay, Midnight. Why are we not sitting in the chairs in the background?
Because it's really hard to get done properly, and then we're really small.
So why have chairs in the background then?
Those are our chairs. We just don't use them during the podcast.
Why don't we sit in them? I don't understand. Do they have significance like everything else in this fucking thing?
No, I just wanted 3 chairs because there's 3 of us.
So why don't we sit in them?
Because they're too far away.
Then bring them closer.
I can't. Yeah, so what are you guys thinking for what we want to do after Edge Dancer?
Ever Darkness once.
No, I refuse.
Okay, well, then I guess we're at a standstill.
So obviously Mistborn Era 2 is 300 years later. It's Mistborn
Wild West.
with Wild West / industrial era with guns. Oathbringer is obviously the continuation, and then as I said, Trust of the Emerald Sea is like a fun kind of adventure-y fantasy story, which is kind of heavily narrated, just like how Princess Bride is kind of like it's told as a story to someone. Trust of the Emerald Sea is told as if someone is telling a story to someone else.
So Darkness, which one do you want?
Just start with Mistborn.
You want to do Mistborn Era 2? Okay.
Well,
So
I
after
guess.
I mean,
after-
hey, after the spoiler we just heard, Darkness, I'm surprised.
after Edge Dancer, we'll be going on to Alloy of Law. So make sure you guys look into
What?
that for your audiobook or ebooks. Called Alloy of Law.
If we don't get to the 3rd book, then we never see Kaladin die.
Exactly. Wonderful.
And
You
as a
never get
reminder, Edge Dancer is in Arcanum Unbounded. I know, Mythic, you said you might have also got it separately.
No, I haven't. Even
Why is Kaladin gonna die? Like, I don't understand.
Yeah,
I don't know what you're talking
Exactly.
about.
exactly. I kind of want to
Um,
know. I also do have I have Edge Dancer by itself too.
Yeah, so if you, depending on which way you read it, because I know you also have Arcanum Unbounded. Arcanum Unbounded will have just the short story. If you read it through the separate book, it's going to the first part of it is going to include Lift's interlude from this book. So the first like 30 to 35 pages are Lift's interlude, which we've already discussed, and we're not going to be discussing during the Edge Dancer review, just so you're aware.
I'm gonna go listen to that one anyways. Alright.
Yeah, you can listen to that one anyways. I'm just saying we're not going
What's
to
it called?
start it with her.
What's the Mistborn one called again?
Alloy of Law.
One alloy.
Is this some courthouse shit? I'm not reading it.
What do you mean
What, Edge Dancer?
courthouse?
It's of law. What do you mean?
Oh, the Alloy of Law. Told you it was like Wild West / industrial
God, the
era.
fucking the cover is what the hell?
Sorry.
Oh, he cursed.
Mm,
Fuck. What does it matter to him if I curse?
Wow. Why it look like that?
Alloy of Law.
What is this cover? The hell?
That's our 2 main characters, Wax and Wayne.
I
don't wanna read anymore.
Are they gonna wax off or wane off?
I think I've told you guys before.
Makes
Their
sense, dude.
names are really funny because they have no moon, but yet they're Wax and Wayne.
Huh. These are our main characters.
Yes.
Alright. Can we not watch? Let's not read this one.
I
That's
think
what
you
I'm
guys will enjoy
saying.
it. I think you guys will enjoy it.
Length of 10 hours and 48 minutes. I can finish that one day. Let's do it.
As I said, first we're doing Edge Dancer.
I'll read this all by myself, and then I'll have perfect theories from now on.
Wait, where are we reading Edge Dancer?
It's in Arcanum Unbounded.
Okay, cool.
Edge Dancer. I have the actual book.
Yeah. So as I said, just make sure you skip. Well, I mean, you can
One
read it, but
to
we won't be
9.
discussing the.
1 to 9. That's a lot of chapters. God,
Yeah, we're
damn.
only doing 2 episodes for Edge Dancer.
That's a lot of
Oh,
It's only gonna be 2 It's gonna be 2 episodes. We're doing 1 to 9, and then we're doing 10 to 20, and that's it.
why does it look like this?
What, Alloy of Law or Edge Dancer?
The Alloy of Law, if I
Yeah.
switch to the Kindle version, it looks like they're in an actual city.
Oh, do you
Oh,
have
good.
maybe one of the other ones? There's a. I'm assuming you might have this. Whoops, it didn't. Why isn't that cover copying? What do
Face
you mean the
it.
file's too big?
Ah!
Your face is too big.
Her face is too.
Okay, ignore the random border around this one. The normal image was too big apparently.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
just an alternate cover.
okay.
don't
Why
look
do I like?
Western.
I like that one better than the other one though.
I do like that one too. The cover I originally sent you is the cover I have.
That's the cover I see.
I don't like that one.
Yeah, I like,
like
this
this
cover.
one better.
This cover looks cool, and it makes more sense.
That's what I
to-
saw in the library. In Barnes and Noble.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's another cover for Ally of Law. But yeah, so we'll be doing Edge Dancer chapter 1 to 9. So we'll end off this episode and then quickly do our Edge Dancer trailer, where I'll read off the Rosharan system essay from Arcanum Unbounded. Thank you guys all so much for listening, and we'll be recording it in a second. Bye.
Bye. Also.